The Vikings, fierce seafarers from Scandinavia, have become some of the most fascinating figures in world history. Living during the Viking Age, which spanned from the late 8th century to the early 11th century, they were more than just the brutal raiders and warriors many believe them to be. The Viking Age, marked by the Vikings' exploration, expansion, and sometimes violent incursions into other regions, was also an era that saw their transformation into skilled traders, settlers, and craftsmen. The Vikings came from the harsh and rugged lands of modern-day Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland, where long, cold winters and a demanding environment shaped their way of life. Despite the challenges of their homeland, they thrived by cultivating a strong warrior ethos, a tight-knit society, and a deep understanding of the sea. Viking life was built around the idea of strength and bravery, both in battle and in life. The Vikings' incredible seafaring skills were at the heart of their success. Their longships, which could navigate both deep seas and shallow rivers, allowed them to travel great distances quickly and effectively. It was with these ships that the Vikings first became known to the world. The famous raid on Lindisfarne in 793 CE marked the beginning of their reputation as fearsome raiders. Their swift and terrifying attacks on monasteries and towns across Europe, particularly in the British Isles, were not just acts of war but also strategies to gather riches and resources, often targeting wealthy, undefended places. While the Vikings are primarily remembered for their raids, they were also known as talented traders. They established extensive trade networks that stretched from the British Isles and the Frankish Empire to the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic world. The Vikings traded in a wide range of goods, including furs, iron, timber, and amber, bringing back spices, silks, and precious metals from the distant regions they encountered. These trade routes helped them thrive economically and culturally, making them a central part of the medieval world's commercial landscape. Many Vikings made their fortunes through trading, and some even settled down in the far-flung regions where they did business, blending Viking culture with the local populations. One of the most important Viking settlements was the city of Jorvik, modern-day York in England, which became a major commercial hub. Though raiding and trading were central to Viking life, their exploration and settlement achievements are equally impressive. Vikings were pioneers of the North Atlantic, venturing farther from home than any other Europeans of their time. Under the leadership of the legendary Leif Erikson, the Vikings sailed across the Atlantic to what is now Newfoundland in Canada, creating a settlement known as Vinland around the year 1000. This early exploration of North America predates Christopher Columbus by nearly 500 years, making the Vikings some of the first Europeans to set foot on the continent. However, the settlement did not last long, likely due to conflicts with indigenous peoples and the harsh climate. In addition to their feats in North America, the Vikings also expanded throughout Europe. They not only raided coastal towns but also established settlements, kingdoms, and influence over vast territories. They were responsible for founding the Kingdom of Normandy in what is now northern France, and their descendants, the Normans, would later play a pivotal role in the conquest of England in 1066. Viking influence also extended into Eastern Europe, where they played a major role in the establishment of the Kievan Rus in modern-day Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. These Norsemen, known as the Varangians, traded, fought, and settled in these areas, leaving a lasting imprint on the culture and history of Eastern Europe. Viking society was built around strong family units, with loyalty to one's kin being a central value. The Vikings practiced a form of governance known as the Thing, which was an assembly where free men gathered to make decisions, resolve disputes, and establish laws. These gatherings represented a kind of early democracy, where every free man had the right to speak and vote on important matters. The Vikings had a reputation for upholding justice, and their legal systems, although rough by today's standards, were integral to maintaining order within their communities. At the core of Viking identity was their warrior culture, where martial prowess was revered. A Viking warrior's reputation was built on bravery and strength, and those who died in battle were believed to be chosen by Odin, the chief of the gods, to reside in Valhalla, a majestic hall where warriors would feast and prepare for the final battle of the gods, Ragnarok. This belief in an afterlife for the honored dead played a significant role in shaping Viking society, as men sought to earn their place in Valhalla through courageous deeds in battle. Norse mythology, rich with tales of gods, giants, and monsters, was deeply ingrained in Viking culture. They believed in a world filled with magic and divine influence, where the gods shaped their destinies. In addition to war and exploration, the Vikings were accomplished craftsmen. They were skilled blacksmiths, woodworkers, and builders, known for their finely crafted weapons, jewelry, and ships. Viking ships, in particular, were masterpieces of design. The longships, with their sleek hulls and efficient sails, allowed the Vikings to travel swiftly across the seas and rivers, and they played an essential role in their success as warriors and explorers. Their jewelry and intricate carvings often depicted their gods and the forces of nature that they believed controlled their world. Despite their fearsome reputation, Viking society was also one that placed importance on family, community, and kinship. The Vikings were farmers as well as warriors, and they cultivated crops like barley, oats, and rye, and raised livestock to sustain their families. They lived in villages made up of longhouses, where extended families gathered together. Social hierarchies existed, with chieftains and noble families at the top, followed by free farmers and warriors, and slaves, who were often prisoners taken during raids. Though much of Viking society centered around their warrior culture, their contributions as traders, explorers, and skilled artisans played a major role in shaping the development of medieval Europe and the wider world. The Viking Age began to decline in the late 11th century due to several factors, including the rise of more powerful European kingdoms, the spread of Christianity in Scandinavia, and the internal cultural shifts that transformed Viking society. Many Vikings, especially those who had previously been raiders, gradually settled into more peaceful lives as farmers, craftsmen, and traders. With the spread of Christianity, Viking beliefs in the old gods were replaced with Christian practices, and the old warrior culture faded. However, the Vikings' legacy endures today. Their stories, sagas, and myths have inspired countless generations, and their impact on the world is still felt, particularly in the regions they once occupied. From the foundation of cities like Dublin and York to their influence on the development of European kingdoms and cultures, the Vikings left an indelible mark on history. Their adventurous spirit, remarkable craftsmanship, and seafaring prowess continue to captivate our imagination, reminding us of a time when warriors, traders, and explorers shaped the fate of nations. If you found this exploration of Viking life captivating and want to learn more about the people who shaped history with their daring exploits, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from the past.